All right, let's try this again. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know real quick in the live chat if you can hear me okay. I think I was having issues a moment ago, which is why I stopped it. Sorry about that. Just let me know one time in the live chat. Just make sure we're good. I see Fast Eddie. I see Kevin. I see my man Chris. Let's see. Looking good, sounding good. Wait for those messages to come in. Sorry, guys, real quick. Happy New Year. Hope everyone's Tuesday is off to a great start. And I hope the first trading day of 2024 is good to you guys. Okay. We're back high. Let's see. Just let me know real quick if you guys can hear me okay. See me? I think we're good. Okay, 42 people day one. There we go. Okay, I think we're good. We're good. Okay, awesome. Yeah, once again, sorry about that, guys. I hope everyone had a happy and safe New Year. I'm happy to see you guys for episode 21 of Walk to 100. Now, there's nothing too crazy going on in the portfolio. We're up a little bit today to start off the new year. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. I don't think any buys today. No dividends coming in this week, actually. So it should be a pretty light walk to 100. But before we take a look at the portfolio, guys, and see what's going on in the world of dividend investing, we gotta guess the count. Let me know the count. So for those of you, if this is your first time tuning into the series, this walk to 100 stream, I basically cannot stop walking until I reach 100 calories. And let's see where we're at. Let me give you some quick stats so you can guess the count. So let's see. I've been walking now for about 50 minutes. Okay, so I've been going for a little time. I've gone 1.7 miles, so quite the distance so far. And I've taken about 4,800 steps. So based on that, guys, let me know what you think the calorie count is sitting at right now. Let me know the count here in the live chat. I bet some of you guys will get it. Okay. Also, I'm looking at the chat. You guys can hear me, see me okay. Sorry about that. So, okay, I see 87 from Mike. I see 88 from Joyce. I see 90, 10. Let's see. 91. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. 93 from Anthony. There we go. Good guess. Sinking fund up 3%. Okay. Well, I don't see 78 from H32. Well, I got to give it to Mike, guys. Mike hit the nail. Our very first guest of the day, Mike hit the nail on the head at 87. I've gone 87 calories so far, now 88. So we only have about, 12 to go, just about 10 calories to go till we hit our mark. But let me see. Let me go through the chat one more time and say what's up to everyone here. It looks like we have about 60 people in the stream. Fast Eddie, Kevin, Chris, Anthony, Vince, Arjani, Joyce, Pat, Mike. Who else we got? Basic Money. Good to see you. We got Ryan, who says, no way I actually made it to a Ryan stream. Well, welcome, my friend. Happy to have you here. Happy to see you. And real quick, you guys can see I'm bouncing around. Obviously, I'm walking on my treadmill. If you want to check this out, the link to this treadmill is in the description of the video. It's just an Amazon treadmill. I picked it up. It's very portable. You can put it anywhere in your house. And for me, this has been a really good way to get some steps in, burn some extra calories right here at my desk as I'm hanging out with you guys in the morning. So that's kind of what this stream is all about. But let's see. Late Game Hero says, Happy New Year. I got to pause investing to pad my emergency fund. That's understandable. My last car repair wiped it, but that's just all the more proof of how important it is to have one. It turned into a crisis from an annoyance, I think is what he meant. But man, I'm sorry to hear that. Car problems are never fun, but thank goodness you had your emergency fund there. That, it sucks to see it go to. It sucks to spend that money on stuff like that. But to your point, that's exactly what that's for. That's exactly what that money is for. So fortunately, you were able to use your emergency fund to pay for that instead of having to dip into your investments or dip into other savings, your checking account or stuff like that. So good for you. That was, very responsible of you to have that emergency fund. So good job. TMG, this is a good question. Do you edit while walking too? No, I've tried, and I'm really not walking fast. I'm only walking like 1.5 miles an hour. And I've tried editing while walking, but it really doesn't work. it's too bouncy. Like, you know, when I'm looking at the screen, I'm too bouncy doing this. So it's hard for me to edit while I'm walking. So I got to either just sit or stand in place while I'm doing that. But we got Duarte in the building. I see. Oh, that's pretty much it. ... S. Anyway, guys, why don't we go take a look real quick over at the portfolio and see where things are sitting today. Like I said, we're up just a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but you know, kind of a nice little gain to start off the new year. And real quick, as we're going through this, let me know here in the live chat or in the comments below if you're watching the replay. How's your portfolio doing today? Are you up? Are you down? What is your best performer, your worst performer? Any dividends coming in today or this week? Let me know all about it here in the live chat or in the comments. So real quick, guys, going over to the screen, taking a look at my portfolio tracking spreadsheet, which, by the way, guys, you can download this for free, start using it for free. There's a link to it in the description of the video. Right now, we're sitting at $60,681, a new all-time high in the portfolio. And just today, we're up $320, so about 0.5%, officially putting me over the $5,000 mark just in terms of share price gains there. The annual dividend income looking nice and high there, $2,473, and looking at some of my best and worst performing positions here over in this column. Let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, it looks like Apple's actually seeing quite a big drop today. Apple's down 3.2%. Okay, so that's going to be the biggest loser of the day. And then the biggest gainer is going to be, looks like we've got a few kind of around the same place. Nothing too crazy though. AbbVie's up about 2%. J&J's up about the same. AT&T's up 1.5%. And Verizon's up almost 2%. Interesting. Now we've got Realty Income up 1%. Procter & Gamble up just a little bit more than that. So, and then Altria 1.3%. So things are looking pretty decent. You know, nothing too crazy in there, like I said. And if we go over to Seeking Alpha, taking a look at the watch list, which this is basically, guys, just a really long running list of dividend stocks that I'm keeping an eye on. These are not ones that I'm researching or anything. It's more so just to track news, just to track price movement, stuff like that. And as we can see, there's a couple heavy hitters today. It looks like B&G Foods, which someone was asking me about B&G Foods in the Dividend Happy Hour on Friday. We took a little look at it. But B&G is up 4% today, so 4.1%, nice gain. Then we had Marriott here, VAC, Marriott Vacations Worldwide, up about 3.9%, followed by Pfizer up 3.5%, ALB up 3%, Dollar General 2.6%, and then some others that were also in the 2% range. So yeah, pretty solid day. And then looking at some of the worst performers, we've got a couple seeing some decent drops. I mean, Intel's down 3.5% almost. Lam Research is down 3.3%. NVIDIA's down. So all the semiconductors are basically down right there along with Apple. Then otherwise, it's actually pretty tame. So overall, I'd say this is a very mellow way to kick off the new year. But that's what's going on here in my portfolio, going around in the world of dividend investing. Let me take it back to the live chat and see what you guys have to say. So it looks like most people are up, with the exception of Fernando. Unfortunately, Fernando's down 1%. Nothing wrong with that. And let me know, too, what your best and worst performers are if you feel so inclined. He's got a dividend coming in from Pepsi on the 4th. So on Thursday, that'll be nice. We got Kevin up 0.7%. Nice little gain there. Beating me today, actually, right? Because I'm up 0.5%. So, yeah, you're beating me today, man. Good job. We've got... Fallon's app says Apple's the biggest loser. Yeah, better go down more so I can buy. I get you there. Oh, I have another question for you guys too in just a moment. Suzuki Man says up 1.15%. Nice little gain there. Anthony's up 0.2%. There we go. Ryan kicking off the new year on a really good note here. Just put $1,000 in the Roth to start the new year. I have no expenses and live with my parents. Dude, good job. Good job. That's a very good use for that money. So keep it up. Let's see. We got Kevin Burgess in the building. Pretty flat. J&J and RTX are the best performers, while Microsoft's one of the worst. Not too shabby. We got Joyce, who's down 0.88%. Got 4 dividends coming in this week. Very nice. The Dripmeister. What's SCHD? Are you asking what is SCHD or how is SCHD performing today? What are you asking? If it's what is SCHD, SCHD is an exchange traded fund or an ETF. It's the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. And I'll show you some of the top 10 holdings or some of the holdings. It basically has just over 100 different dividend paying stocks within the fund, some of which include Broadcom, the Home Depot, AbbVie, Texas Instruments, Amgen, Merck, all of these right here, Chevron, Pepsi, Coke. And like I said, in total, there's 104 different holdings. And all of these are pretty solid dividend payers. They all have a history of paying their dividends for at least 10 years. So that's one of the requirements to be eligible to even be included in this fund. And many people like SCHD the holdings are pretty nice. You get a really nice diversified portfolio, 100 holdings. Can't really complain about that. But the dividend stats are pretty solid. You're starting out with a nice 3.5% yield. The 5-year growth rate's great, 13%. And they've been making increases to the dividend for the last, 12 straight years. So all around, it's a pretty great fund, and it's performed pretty well over the years. I think it came out in 2010, maybe. You guys correct me in the chat if I'm mistaken on that. Well, yeah, it would have been 2010 for sure. Yeah, I don't remember the exact date, but it came out 2010. And since then, really solid performance. So overall, it's a pretty great all-around ETF to invest in, especially if you want a little bit more cash flow than some of the other funds like VU or VTI or VT or, VIG. So yeah, definitely one worth looking into. But there's a lot of really great dividend-paying ETFs out there. VIG is another good one. We've got DGROs, another great one. VYM, really solid. And, obviously you can't go wrong with VU, the S&P 500. You can't go wrong with VT or VTI, the total market index indices. One of them is just US based. That's VTI. And then the other is just international. That's going to be VT. So some really great options out there. And there's tons more than I didn't mention here. But I wanted to ask you guys, let's see. Actually, sorry, real quick, guys. Erwin here. I just saw this comment. Down 5%. Erwin, what is your biggest loser today? I'm curious to know. Got a dividend from PFLT. There you go. Good stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I had a question. Oh, yeah, Wilmer, that was you talking about B&G. Cool. Will Intel ever be a buy in the future? Yeah, I think, well, for me, I don't know. I feel like if I'm going to get back into Intel, I'd really have to study up more on the semiconductor industry. But it could definitely be. If you would have bought it a handful of months ago, or if you would have bought it earlier this year, it would have been a really solid buy, right? Because it was down definitely in the 30s. I think if I remember correctly, did Intel even get into the 20s? It got pretty low nonetheless, and it since saw a really solid climb. So I think it's up close to 90% just this year. So, at some point well, I don't know. I shouldn't say for sure either way, but it could even be a buy right now, depending on what you think about the future of the company. Who knows? Let's see. Oh, there we go. The Dripmeister talking about SCHD. I'm pretty new to investing and I'm going to start up this year. Been watching your videos and it's mentioned a lot and didn't know what it was. Yeah, SCHD it's been, some people say that SCHD shareholders are like in a cult because people get pretty religious about the fund. I would say it is like the definitive dividend ETF. That one, DGRO, I think VYM's in that category as well. These are all some of the more popular dividend focused ETFs. And speaking personally, I have SCHD in my portfolio. Let me show you. Over in my Roth IRA, I'm investing in SCHD every single week. I invest in SCHD and I invest in VOO, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. So I think personally for me, this is a pretty good split right here. And yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with really either one or both. But like I said, overall, there's some good ETFs out there. And I think in general, ETFs are a really great place to start if you're just now getting into investing. It's a great way to get some skin in the game, get a feel for the movement of the market. Because for a lot of new people entering the stock market, seeing those swings in share price up and down at first it can be a bit overwhelming, especially if we're in a really volatile period on the market. A lot of people, it can kind of scare them away. And you don't see as big of swings typically with ETFs because they are so diversified. The ups and downs of the various holdings within the funds kind of smooths things out a little bit more. So it's a great place to start. It's a great way to, like I said, get some skin in the game and start off with a well-diversified portfolio that you can invest into every single week or every single month. So, when you're just getting started, I think ETFs are a great place to start and are definitely worth considering. And if you have any specific questions or anything, don't hesitate to ask here in the chat. Join the Discord group. There's a link to that in the description of the video too. That's free to join. Over 2,700 investors in there, and everyone just here in the community in general is, we have a really solid community. Everyone here in the community does a great job of trying to point each other in the right direction, sharing their opinions, sharing their thoughts. And overall, it's a really positive, tight-knit community. So I think you'll fit right in here. Let's see. And real quick on that subject, I just want to thank all of you guys watching for being a part of the community and making it that way, because it's really all because of you guys, just all being willing and wanting to help other investors do the best that they can. That's what this is all about. So this is a good question. So Brandon, and I still have a question for you guys. I'll ask it in just a moment. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Charlie Munger saying diversification isn't necessary if you have a couple of very good companies that you understand? Oh, this is a really good question. It's so funny too, because I hear so many different opinions on diversification from some pretty great investors. Like I was listening to, I'm about halfway through one of the most recent episodes of the Richer, Wiser, Happier podcast. I don't remember who the guest on there was, but he's a fund manager, has crushed it over the last 20, 25 years. And they were talking about diversification and talking about this exact thing, because the host, William Green, basically presented the question in the same way. So obviously, guys like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, they take a less is more approach and say that what you said just there, Brandon. So, diversification is not entirely necessary if you understand at a deep level the companies that you're looking at, which I guess makes sense, totally makes sense if you have that understanding and have that confidence about the future of those companies. But anyway, what I was trying to get to was this fund manager, when asked the question, said the exact opposite. He said, in our fund, we would rather have 60 different holdings, each at, a 1%, 2%, 3% allocation, than have less holdings and have more, I guess, riding on the success of those lesser amount of holdings. He said, we just feel more comfortable that way. We sleep better at night operating that way. And we think that over time, the ones that will do the compounding, the ones that will be the real winners, those take care of themselves and stuff like that. But obviously, if you had less holdings and you were just able to only own those really solid compounders, the ones that will really perform the best out of the bunch over the years, you'll do much better than if you had some of that. Your portfolio will perform better than if you had some of that spread out in a wider group of holdings. So my thoughts on it, I don't particularly. Actually, let me say it like this. I think what these different opinions all boil down to is that everyone's going to have a different approach, and everyone's going to do things in the way that they think is best, which makes sense to me. I mean, I don't think there's really a right or wrong answer here. And similarly, I know people here in the community that have 10 to 20 holdings, which compared to this other group that has maybe 80 or 100 holdings is much less diversified, and they do just fine. But also the people who have 80 to 100 different holdings in their portfolio also seem to do just fine. So yeah, I mean, I think in general, though, if you have enough confidence in your holdings, then, maybe you don't need to have such an expansive collection of stocks in your portfolio. But then again, if you're just starting out, I don't know, actually. I guess if you're just starting out, I was about to say, then maybe it does make sense to cast a wider net, but I don't really think so much that's the case. I think it makes more sense if you're just starting out and maybe don't have confidence in the holdings in your stock picking skills. That's where the ETFs come in. And that's why I say you should probably start with ETFs, which are very diversified, right? SCHD, 104 different holdings. Not all of them are going to be great. There's going to be some laggards in there, but you never know. So, SCHD, VU, S&P 500, you got 500 different holdings there. Really, the top few are carrying most of the performance of that. So It's tough to say. I think not to ramble too much on this, but I think everyone's just going to have a different way of doing things. And if I could invest like Charlie, then maybe I'd feel fine having just 1 or 2 or 3 different holdings. So, and maybe someday we'll get there. I don't know. We'll see what happens. That was a really roundabout answer to the question, so I apologize. A lot of times when I'm asked questions like that, I'm kind of just thinking out loud, and the answer is an attempt to think through it as I'm talking about it. So sometimes it comes out a bit like gibberish. Most of the stuff I say does anyway. But okay, so I was going to ask you guys though. We'll ask this question and then we'll see what the count's at. So I was going to ask you guys, what is the first stock going? What's the first stock that you're going to buy this year in 2024? Are you buying anything today, this week? Let me know what the first stock you're going to buy is. I'm curious to know what your first pick is. So let me know here. And then going back to that question, those guys are buying a ton of shares and holding for infinite periods of time. Well, I'd like to think too that we normal investors who are just investing for financial freedom and who are just I don't want to say investing casually, but investing not for business or for work, but for ourselves. I like to think too that over time we'll be buying a ton of shares and also we'll be holding at least some of these holdings, at least some of these stocks for infinite periods of time. Like I can look at quite a few in my portfolio that unless something drastic changes, unless something drastic happens, I plan to hold them, for the rest of my life. So, and I think for a lot of us too, a lot of us here, I mean, dividend investing by nature is a buy and hold strategy. So I think that applies to a lot of us. We all tend to try and select holdings that we can just sit with for a long period of time and do nothing with except accumulate. So, okay, to answer the question, Merlin, did I pronounce that right? Hopefully I did. I'm sorry if I butchered that. NN Group, I haven't heard of that one. That's his first buy this year. So Kevin says BMY, Bristol Myers Squibb, first purchase. Chris says VU, good one. We got Luis in the building, says, I just bought my ETF combo with SCHD, VTI. Wow, look at all those ETFs. VEA, VYMI, JEPI, and JEPQ. There you go. Tortoise says, not buying anything at the moment, but I'm looking to load the boat on Visa on any dips. Good move. We got Ben here says MHO, first buy of the year. We got Johnson & Johnson, good one. We have Ty here says Vici, classic. Balance App says buying VGT. That's another good ETF to look into as well. Excuse me. And VU in the Roth today. There you go. Mike going with SCHD, classic. H32, going with FPI, which is a Malaysian stock. Really great dividend payer with a 7% yield. Nice. Kevin says either RTX, Hershey Company, Medtronic, or PNW. There you go. Good stuff. Yeah, Ryan says Procter & Gamble has been lagging the market recently. I may add to the position. There you go. Vince, PNNT and PFLT. Okay. Brandon, I started a new position in Hershey today. Nice. Yeah, Zhang says not really stock, but max, that's, counts. That's still, I should have said stock or ETF when I asked. Not really stock, but maxed out my Roth IRA with VU. Nice. There we go. Fernando's got a nice little shopping spree, actually. VU, SCHD, Realty Income, Apple, and Starbucks. Yeah, I might have to buy some more Starbucks this week as well. We got Tom looking at Starbucks and Kimberly-Clark. Arjani going with EPD and SCHD. Sheldon says SCHD, Realty Income, and JEPI. First buy of my life. Nice, man. Good stuff. Let's see. Suzuki Man's just sitting on the side, maybe waiting for some more Watsco, WSO. And then Anthony's buying SCHD, the Hershey Company, and Enbridge. Great choices. So with that, guys, I think that's a pretty great place to check the count. Why don't we see what's going on here? So with all of this said, been going 73 minutes. Okay. 2.23 miles. Wow. 6,500 steps. So we're doing pretty good, which puts me at 113 calories. So I'll hit the pause button there. Let's see though. There's 120 of us right now in the stream, which I think actually is the most amount of people we've had on a Walk to 100 stream. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out with me these last 30 minutes. I'm sorry once again for the technical difficulties at at the start of the stream. This is the second time that's happened, although on Friday it was for a different reason. But yeah, so I got this new, I don't know if I can show it. You can't really see it. I mean, you can see the cord, but this is like an HDMI cord that my camera is, actually, this is the HDMI cord, excuse me, wrong one. So I got this, I want to show you guys. Cord's all tangled up. So I got this, it's called a Cam Link. I don't know if I'll be able to show it. So, but this is the cord for it. You know, can't see it. Okay, whatever. So I got this thing. It's called a Cam Link, and it's basically a connector from my camera into my computer. I didn't have to use this up until recently. I could usually just plug in my camera to my computer just using like a USB Thunderbolt cable, and it worked just fine. But Apple made some updates to their software that made it so I couldn't do that anymore and use that for streaming. And so I had to get this Cam Link thing. I got it for Christmas. Friday was my first time using it. It looked really good. It worked really good. But using it this morning, I think maybe I was just tripping, but I don't know. It wasn't showing up right on the screen. It was like frozen. So I wasn't sure if that was working. I wasn't sure if the sound was working. And so I had to basically start things over, but I think it's good. So yeah, I think it's working as it should. It seems like it's fine. So maybe I was just mistaken. But Suzuki Man says, that's ridiculous. What's ridiculous? Oh, maybe this right here. Arjun says not a favorite, but AT&T is up 14%. For AT&T is up 14%. Since when? Yeah, I don't know. Since when? Anyway, guys, any last questions before we call it a day? Any last things you guys got for me? I've got a couple things for you. Number one, if you haven't done so already and you enjoyed this stream, be sure to hit that thumbs up button for me one time. Just let me know you liked it. What else do I got for you? I got a big video coming out tomorrow talking about all of my dividend income for 2023. So I'll show you all my income for this last month in December, which is a really solid month of dividends. Had my highest SCHD dividend of all time. And overall, really solid year. So I'll show you my annual totals, and I'll also share some fun facts about the portfolio throughout the year, just as it pertains to dividends. So I hope you guys check it out. That'll be coming tomorrow morning. Then Anthony here's got a question about any changes coming to the spreadsheet. So that's another good question. I'm actually glad you brought that up. Sometime this month, I'm planning on releasing a new spreadsheet version. It probably will come sometime later in the month, maybe towards the end of the month. But I do plan on releasing a new spreadsheet version. And let me show you just some of the updates real quick. So, and some of the changes I want to make, I haven't yet done to my own portfolio, but I want to adjust this. I want to change some things here, bring in the total return. Just kind of change some of the data around here on the dashboard. I think I'm ultimately going to get rid of this column here, the projected dividend income. Personally speaking, I just don't think it's very helpful. I think, and the information here comes from this future value calculator, but I just don't think this is quite accurate. I've compared the numbers here to other online dividend calculators, and I just get a lot of discrepancy. And so I think I'm going to delete this, or at least remove it from the future version of the spreadsheet, at least temporarily, until I can get it right. And I actually want to try and build one that can go on my website. But I think I will ultimately be removing this. The positions page is going to have some updated info, so you'll get the dividend growth rate, like I said. I think total returns are already included. Yeah, I might remove this column. There's some other minor things that I might do to the spreadsheet. Sold positions, you'll get a sold positions page. You can track all of the different stocks that you've sold out of, when you sold them, what price you sold them at, how that compares to where they're at today, and the returns from all of those sold positions. So not too many crazy changes to the spreadsheet. Just some minor stuff, but I think overall it'll be a helpful update. But that's what's coming. I'll put the release out sometime later this month for sure. So Ryan here says, we'll make this the last question. Do you have a Discord that you ever use to talk to subscribers or anything like that? Absolutely, man. I mentioned this earlier in the stream, I thought, but I do have a Discord group. There's a link to it in the description of the video. It's called the Drip and Sip Discord group. And right now there's over 2,700 members in there. We're growing that every day. So I'd love to have all of you guys join. Once again, there's a link to it in the description. You just click that, it'll take you right there. But and it's a really solid group too, a really solid group of investors. I know a lot of people watching are in the Discord group, and it's just really, really awesome community. So, but yeah, with that, guys, I think this is a great place to wrap it up. This was a long stream today. We went 30 minutes. So we'll call it a day here. But thank you guys so much for tuning in with me, hanging out with me these last 30 minutes to kick off the first trading day of the new year. And hope the rest of the week is good for you guys. And don't forget, we got a great video coming out tomorrow. So I hope you guys tune in, and I hope you leave me a comment. But otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic day. And before I end it, I just got to say thank you to my man Jonah real quick for the $5 super chat. Happy New Year, Ryan. Here's a little something to throw in your portfolio. Thank you, my friend. I sincerely appreciate that. You are the man. Hope you had a great New Year. And that goes for all of you guys. Hope you had a fantastic New Year. And 2024 is going to be a good one. I don't know what the market will do, but it's going to be a good year. We're going to stack that cash flow, and it'll be a good time. It'll be a bumpy ride at times, I'm sure, but I think we'll make it through. But anyway, guys, I'll wrap it up there. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one.